Time now for our mental health moment of the week. When there's a traumatic event that happens out in the community, there are professionals who are trained to respond to assist individuals impacted with their mental health from the stress of those types of situations. Here to discuss with us more on that is Sweetser's Joanne. Thank you so much for being in studio with us today. So how do professionals help calm those impacted by trauma?
Sure. Sweetser has a service called CISM, which stands for Critical Incident Stress Management. We were fortunate enough to receive a Family Foundation grant to train our clinicians in this model. What happens is we deploy a team to do debriefings for individuals and groups who may have been impacted by a traumatic event. I think it's important to note that you don't have to be a clinician to be deployed to assist. As a matter of fact, the training that I did had many first responders and law enforcement in that training because they experience a high volume of traumatic events and like to support one another.
Okay. Why is this type of engagement important for healing for those who have been affected by an event like this?
Sure. I think first and foremost, it's an intervention to help people regain baseline functioning, adaptive functioning to get through the day with normal tasks. As we know, when people experience traumatic events, they deal with it differently, have lots of feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. And what we want to do first is normalize all of it. Nothing is off limits. All of those experiences are normal. Some people take a lot of time to heal, some people heal quickly. So first and foremost, that is the strategy. Second is to prevent long-term psychological damage. And third is to provide support and resources and referrals for those in which a CISM debriefing isn't enough. And that may include counseling, and that's okay as well. That is a very normal intervention for someone who has experienced a traumatic event.
Okay. And what are some examples of your team doing this type of engagement?
Yeah, so we're coming up on a very important, remembrance of the mass shootings in Lewiston. In our community, and the folks in Lewiston were deeply impacted. We had CISM teams on the ground in the community. We provided CISM teams just for walk-in in different schools and businesses. We also got individual calls from schools to come in and do CISM debriefings. I think even recently another way that we provide this service is being contacted by a school who may have had a student who has recently died, and we go in and provide that support for the student body and the staff.
Okay. And in the case of a traumatic event in the community, when you guys are contacted, how are teams dispatched, and how is it that you are contacted for critical response?
Yeah, so Sweetser is one of many organizations that has CISM teams available. I would suggest that just like you would call our Promise line, 1-800-434-3000, for other mental health supports and treatment that you would call to request that service. And again, if you're in crisis and need immediate help, call 988.
Okay, some savvy advice. Joanne, thanks so much for joining us today to talk about this important topic. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.